Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here, and it's the end of 2012. I mean, that went by really fast, and I know you all have had a lot of questions for me in the, 5 years that I've been doing this? I don't think I've ever done an FAQ. Maybe I have. I've done a few Q&As in live stream, but I figure, what the hey? I know I've got a lot of answers for you guys, and I know you guys have a lot of questions for me, so here it is, an FAQ. Let's roll the first question. Why don't you use video clips from the stuff you're reviewing in your videos? Well, the answer to that one is actually copyright reasons. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube or anyone. I want my reviews to kind of be 100% I own, or using material that is Creative Commons, that has been licensed for commercial use, like the Incompetech music, or the snow visuals that I tried out recently. But Pieguy, other YouTubers use clips from shows and they don't get in trouble because it's fair use parody. Yeah, I understand that. It's just the thing is, that doesn't always fly, especially on YouTube. You get your stuff taken down for having any sort of clip or music or whatever. You can get it taken down. That doesn't mean it's going to be taken down. And the YouTubers that have this stuff up are either really small, under-the-radar YouTubers who can post stuff before YouTube eventually takes it down, like full episodes of shows, or you're so big that if YouTube does copyright claim you, or a bot on YouTube copyright claims you, you can fight it. If you got tons of subscribers, you're making a lot of money off this, you can afford lawyers, you can fight this thing. Me, if I get a copyright claim, all I can do is be like, YouTube, can you please not tape my video down? I wasn't trying to infringe on anyone. And if they say no, well then that's all that work on the video for nothing, and you guys don't get to see it, or I have to post it on Blip or some other nonsense. So it just keeps things simpler. I would like to show clips, kind of, but I feel like I can come up with some better ways to entertain you guys with some visuals that doesn't involve using clips. I think I'm going to start using dramatic reenactments of some of my favorite conversations between characters, or favorite lines from episodes or shows in the review. Like it'll be the regular picture, and then all of a sudden it'll cut to a clip of like me talking to like a Jake the dog plushie, dressed as Finn or whatever. And I feel like that's something I've been starting to use some Creative Commons video clips, just common clips like the snowfall. Just a little touch, but I mean, other than that, you can think of my videos as pretty much audios. Think of me as kind of like a podcast type thing where, maybe you download me to your phone, maybe you just kind of watch the YouTube video while you're playing some video games or watching some TV or doing something else. It's not necessarily a visual medium that I've been using, although I'm trying to make it a more visual thing for you guys. Why are you wearing that hat? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have a really crappy haircut, alright? I went to the barber for the first time without my girlfriend, because my girlfriend was up at college, and for like the past 2 years that I've known her, she's been the one. I've gone with her, and she's told the haircutter people exactly how I like it. So I don't really know how to do that. I went there, and apparently I got this new guy. I get who I get. I go to like Great Clips. It's not a not a very expensive or high quality haircutter, I suppose. I went there and I was like, okay, just a trim, just a little bit, just so it's out of my eyes, because my hair was in my eyes. Like, that's too long for me. I was like, just a trim, and he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And what he does is he sprays my hair down, makes it all wet, and my hair goes like right over my eyes. So I can't see what he's cutting, And then all of a sudden, when he cuts my eye, there's nothing there. Like, literally, there's nothing here. And no, I'm not going to show you because I don't want you guys to remember me having this stupid haircut. I don't like having the haircut. It even feels weird on my head not to have hair on the sides. Like, I'm cold. My head is cold because of this. And you're thinking I'm freaking out and overreacting. I know it's just a haircut, but I don't know. My hair is kind of a trademark thing to be that moppy mess of curls and waviness. It doesn't feel right, so I've been wearing hats a lot lately. And if you can believe it, this is probably my least ridiculous hat that I own. If you guys know me, you know I have a lot of ridiculous, distracting hats that I could be wearing right now, but I tried to wear a low-key one. Why don't you review X show that I want you to review? Okay, so in a lot of cases, I don't review a show because it is mediocre. I don't get around to reviewing it. Like for instance, let's take Tough Puppy as an example. I watched it. I kind of had intents on reviewing it, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't love it so much as to want to, write a gushing praise of it. And, I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it enough to want to rant about it. So it was just so middle road that, I could review it, but I have more important things that I hate more or that deserve my attention more because I like them more. You know what I mean? I'll make mention of it in a video like the state of Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or something. I'll make note of my opinion, but it's not always enough to do a review. That's the case sometimes. Sometimes it's just a show I haven't gotten to yet. And other times I haven't heard of the show. Plain and simple. How do you make a YouTube video? All I do is I'm sitting and I either come up with an idea or I read an idea that you guys give me in the comments, or, you vote for the worst episode and I'll rant on that. Or you'll tweet me Face Freeze is the worst episode of SpongeBob. You should review it. And I was like, okay. So I either come up with the idea or I get the idea from you guys, and that's where it all begins, obviously. What I do first is I find the episode online, or if it's not online, I find it on iTunes and I buy it. But most of the stuff is either on Nick.com or Netflix or CartoonNetwork.com or whatever. Most of the stuff I can find fairly easily and legally. And then after I have the episode that I'm reviewing, I open up iMovie here. I use Adobe Premiere Elements to edit, but I use iMovie to record because my Adobe Premiere Elements for some reason it's not working with my awesome mic. So I record stuff in iMovie. I record an intro before even watching it, and then as I'm watching it, every few minutes I'll pause it and tell you guys what's going on, or rant about something or other that's bothering me or that I like. And then when that's all done, and I don't do it all in one take. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. I do multiple takes and I do multiple recordings. And when that's done, I finalize it in iMovie, and then I import it to Premiere Elements. And then from there, I painstakingly edit it all together. And I know it's just audio, so you wouldn't think it requires a lot of editing, but it does. I try to edit out my buts and my uhs and my stupid ticks and any mistakes I made. But even more than that, I edit out parts that I find are irrelevant or just excessive. Like, when you're explaining something, sometimes you'll restate something thinking that it's clearer, but really you're just saying the same thing twice, and so you don't need it the second time. And in the case of something like the Fairly Odd Christmas review, I needed to cut anywhere that I could because that was a long review. So yeah, from there I edit it and I shut it down, and I do the audio first. And then if there's any extra audio I need to record, I'll go back into iMovie, record some extras, and export it and import it and cut it in. And then I worry about the visuals. Am I going to do a picture that's moving? Am I going to do any effects on the picture? Usually I try to do at least some effects on the picture. Or lately, like I said, I've been using some external things. And I'm open to trying a bunch of things for visuals. But I worry about visuals last because to me it's the least important, to be honest. And then I just upload it to YouTube. And usually I'll set it on private. I'll check the video, and then the next day I'll set it to public. And that's about it. I mean, I'm not, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's simple. It's a very simple process. I don't, I try not to do anything that would take me a long time, because I find if I'm working on a project for a long time, I just kind of drift off of it. The whole process, usually, it can take anywhere from... Usually I do it in a week. Usually I'll watch it and record it all in one day, and then I'll set it aside for a few days, because I don't want to hear what I just said, because all those opinions are fresh in my mind. It's better for me editing to come back to it a few days later, and the editing takes usually 1 to 3 days, depending on how diligent I am with it. It's probably a 5-hour process all in all, but it's better to come back to it. That way, it's not all stuff that I already think. That way, it's not boring for me to rehear my opinion, because it gets boring hearing myself, especially if it's my own opinion that I'm listening to. So at least I'm not thinking the exact same things as I'm watching it or whatever. So it helps to do that. Yeah. Do you have any advice for a fellow ranter? Not really. I mean, I have a few tips. Like, for instance, have a clear voice. Don't go into it like this, like I did at the beginning. You don't be all whispery and timid. You gotta go into it with a radio booming voice. Have a clear opinion. Man, I've learned a lot from my earlier rants. Just don't restate things a lot. Don't waffle. If you say something and then you find you're rebutting it a minute later, just edit out the first thing. And use editing. That's the thing. Don't think that you can just speak for 30 minutes and have your opinion be golden. Sometimes it works out nicely, but in a lot of cases, you're still formulating opinions. Take multiple takes, too. Don't just go with the first thing you say. Say something, because I don't use a script. I just kind of form it on the fly, but I say something, and then after that, usually the second or third tape, I'll perfect it. The third take. See, there we go. Second or third take, I'll perfect it, and I'll be like, okay, I wanted to say this point, but maybe I can put a joke on it, like this, and I'll try it again, and I'll be like, okay, that was better. And just, really know what you're doing. Do a little bit of research into it. Don't just crank out tons of rants all the time. That's why my videos take a little while, because I do put love, effort, and care into everything I do recently, and I am incredibly ashamed of a lot of my early work. Whatever happened to Animal Crossing Abridged, the Game Boy series, or the Three Brothers? Okay, Animal Crossing Abridged, let's start with that one. It kind of ran its course for me, to be honest. I loved doing it. It was great. But abridging, it's just not for me anymore. I feel like the abridging community has kind of died because everyone wants to do their own thing. Nobody really wants to be known for taking someone else's work and modifying it. As funny as they are, they can never be sold on a DVD. They can never be officially your property. So that's kind of the abridging side of it. And for me, I don't know, it just kind of lost its charm. If you look back, though, as rough as some of those cuts are, like oh god, I'm holding the DS, and you can see my hands and it moving, and you can see where I looped it. As rough as it is, I think it's still funny, to be honest. If you ever want proof that I'm a funny person, you look at that. And I'm not saying that with a big ego, I'm just saying it makes me laugh when I go back and watch them. So as crude as it is, I think there's some really good humor in it, and who knows, maybe I'd reuse some of those jokes if I were to do my own live-action series, which, getting to the other ones that I've tried, like the Three Brothers and the Game Boy and things like that, it's tough. It's really tough to do something like that. With the Three Brothers, I just couldn't schedule my friends. And they're not actors either. I can't expect more of them than they can give because they're just my friends, and they're doing me a favor, and they're good people, and I like them, and they can be funny, but it's just, it's not right, it didn't fit well for me and their schedules, and it just, so that was that. And the Game Boy, it's tough, like I said, it's tough to do a series all by yourself, and I felt that my effects were always cruddy, and my acting was always bad, and I was always I felt very unprofessional. It just, and again, going back to what I said with Animal Crossing, it relied on properties like Nintendo. I want to create something completely original when I do that. Even though I am a review show, even though I do rants and critiques, I still feel like I try to be original with that. And like I said, when I eventually do want to make that awesome web series that hopefully I will be able to make with some college connections, assuming I ever make any, I want it to be really good, and I want to be really proud of what I put my name on. Why are you still talking about children's cartoons even though you're like 20? Okay, I get this one a lot. Why do I still talk about children's cartoons? Okay, one, you guys all want to hear it. Maybe not all of you, but so many of my subscribers tell me to keep doing this, so why would I stop? Two, I like doing it. It's honestly fun. To have all you guys care about my opinion, to be able to critique things, it's fun. It quite honestly is fun, and I am blessed to have such a fan base that I do. It's not, amazingly huge, but it's really good. I've got more subscribers than anyone I know in real life. So thank you guys for that. But why do children's cartoons need to be reviewed and critiqued the way I do them? I've said it before, but what you expose your kids to is very important. It always has been and always will be. And I'm not saying, like, you let your kid watch some episodes of SpongeBob and you're going to grow up to be an idiot. But what I am saying is that, tastes start off earlier, and kids don't always have the critical thinking skills that adults do. So a kid might watch an episode and not particularly like it, but not know how to voice it, because all they've ever known is good episodes of SpongeBob, or, good episodes of this. They haven't yet been able to gain the ability to say that was bad, or to admit out loud that it was bad, even though they're thinking it. And kids don't always have the choice, too. Just because they sit there and watch SpongeBob doesn't mean they wouldn't rather watch something better. They just don't know the better thing is out there. And that's why Nickelodeon's ratings have declined, because kids are discovering the internet and Netflix, and they have a whole host of things to watch. They have original YouTube content. They have Netflix. They can watch older shows on Netflix for free after the subscription. The whole kids section for Netflix. And Cartoon Network's really coming back, too, so they have that to look at. And there's even more networks on TV for kids. There's Disney's got another one that's Disney XD. There's Nicktoons. There's Boomerang, which is a great network, by the way. There's just a ton of them. And the kids have more options nowadays. But the reason it needs to be critiqued is that, also, just because it's for kids doesn't mean it has to be crap. Like, you make something for kids, you should be making something for everyone that's suitable for kids. That's how it should work. That's how the early SpongeBob's worked, and I'm using that as an example. It's something that could be enjoyed by everyone. It was geared towards kids, yes, but it had intelligent humor. And kids will enjoy something that's more intelligent than something that's not. I stand by it. Even though they can't admit it, they don't necessarily know it. Subconsciously, if they're watching something like Avatar The Last Airbender over something like Fanboy and Chum Chum, like, they get more out of it. It's important for a lot of different reasons, and I feel like not everyone does it. There's not a lot of people who critique cartoons. There's a lot of people who, watch them as kids and then move on. And look, I've moved on with my life. If you're all thinking that I sit here and do nothing but watch cartoons, I very rarely watch cartoons, to be honest with you. I still love me. I love The Simpsons. I love South Park, which are more adult cartoons, too, by the way. I don't just watch children's stuff. I don't know why some people think that I do, just because that's all I review. I watch things like Community, How I Met Your Mother, although I know that's such a bad show. It's so not funny, but I still watch it for some reason. Married with Children is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. I watch a lot of adult shows or, family shows, not just kids shows. Just because you see me doing it doesn't mean that's all I do. I don't really watch much SpongeBob anymore. I don't watch the bad episodes unless I'm reviewing them, and I occasionally watch the good episodes. So, just because you see me doing only that doesn't mean that's all I ever do with my life. I've got a lot of other things going on that I don't show you because it's not relevant. And why don't I review older television shows? Shows like South Park that's more mature. Shows like Community, although I briefly touched on it. You guys don't want to see it. You respond. My fan base is here to watch me critique some children's material, and that's what I do. I do it really well. And yeah, I know this was a complicated answer, but it's something that I get so upset every time I see a comment that's like, man, move on with your life, or when you're done with college, you're going to be done with this, right? Maybe, I don't know, I'm having fun with this. It's something that should be done. It should be taken seriously, because guess what? It's written by adults. It's not written by children. If these shows were made by children, I'd be like, okay, made by children, whatever, I'm not going to give them crap for it. But these adults deserve to be given crap for it. If they're just shoveling out stupid faces for 11 minutes, that's not a good cartoon. That's not good media that you're exposing your child to. And it could be done so much better. That's why I believe critiquing should just be a thing in general, because even if something's really good, it could always be done better, and creators need to know it. Now more than ever, with the internet age, we have a voice. It's not a very loud voice, but some creators do listen to their fans. I do. Not that I'm a huge guy or anything, but, some people listen to, hey, Look at Adult Swim. Toonami? Bam, you got Toonami. They listened. They know. Nickelodeon, the 90s are all that, although, unfortunately, they haven't updated it, at all, but it's there because we asked for it. So, it's important to give creators input, and I hope one day that I could be a famous cartoonist and have my own show, and if I do, I would listen to you guys. I would take questions on Forum Spring or whatever, and I would try to do it right by the fans, as a lot of creators are, like Pendleton Ward and his crew at Adventure Time. But this video's gone on long enough. I hope this answers some of your questions. If you have more questions, tweet me if you're on Twitter. I'll answer them there. Or I'll do another FAQ if I get like a ton more questions, but I don't see that happening. I hope you found this video to be informative, and yeah, Pieguyrulz, out.